who is going to tell us and sum up why we are here today. Thanks, Maddie.
Yay, Maddie!
Hi everyone. Today we stand together against the development of offshore drilling in the Great Australian Bight. This is a stand for our wildlife, a stand for our community, and a stand for our wilderness. The Great Australian Bight is one of the last and most pristine marine sanctuaries in the world. It's renowned for its natural oasis of diverse marine life, dubbed the Galapagos of the South. It's so unique in its environmental conditions that 85% of the Bight's existing species cannot be found anywhere else on the planet. This unique and incredible natural wonder is something that many of us have a connection with through our culture, our livelihoods, and our passions. To allow companies to search our Bight for oil is to cross a threshold which should remain untouched. The industrialisation of our oceans propels our society down a path of action which is completely incoherent with values of environmental sustainability. Values that have been so topical, so researched, so relevant that we have no excuse not to prioritise them. We have no excuse to blame the world's environmental concerns on foreign nations whose economic, political and geographical settings are entirely divergent from our own. Instead, we need to look to ourselves, to this environment, a marine sanctuary with a sanctity we all depend on in one way or another. We need to look to the Eyre Peninsula, a land with ideal conditions and resources, giving it the utmost potential to be at the forefront of the renewable revolution. This is an industry which would not only enable our region to develop sustainable and stable power sources, but would bring much prosperity to the locals. In contrast, the proposal of oil drilling would most likely generate few local jobs, export the oil that's found, and have little contribution to the local economy or resources. In addition to being a very marginal economic contribution, the introduction of oil drilling rigs into the ocean is a high-risk, expensive and laborious process which would emit pollutants into the ocean and upset the natural balance of the environment. Even prior to drilling rigs being established, the process of seismic testing to locate oil reserves is highly disruptive to natural ecosystems. Seismic testing is a process of using air guns to blast powerful waves of sound that penetrate noise through the ocean floor and locate oil reserves. Humans can die after being exposed to sounds of over 200 decibels. The initial sound waves of seismic tests are around 240 decibels. Sound powerful enough to kill a human is bound to have destructive impact on marine ecosystems. Research suggests that the high-volume seismic blast can significantly harm marine mammals by damaging their hearing and interrupting their efforts to communicate with one another. Recent seismic blasting activities have been synonymous with erratic and irregular wildlife behaviour and beach strandings. These are the impacts of oil drilling in a best-case scenario. In the wild and unpredictable conditions of the Bight, the inconvenient reality is that an oil spill is almost imminent. The impacts of this would be irrevocable. Models have shown that oil would likely stretch its way along the entire southern coast and part of the eastern coast of Australia, leaving devastation in its wake. Marine life would be overwhelmed, water quality would be depleted, and beaches would be tarnished. It's unlikely that the effects of a spill could ever be completely removed. But even for our oceans to regain some of their natural balance would take generations, time humanity does not have. The spill would completely devastate fishing, aquaculture and tourism industries, as well as all of those dependent on their industries for their livelihoods. We cannot prioritise the potential for short-term gain over the potential for such a detrimental incident that will see our true wilderness depleted forever. Fortunately, so far, all of the applicants for the companies to drill in the Bight have been rejected, largely due to the support like this that we see today. However, we cannot forget there are still 7 oil companies with 9 live exploration permits and the potential for more to be issued. These companies have the full intention to commence exploration in the near future, which, unless something is done, completely threatens the sanctity of the ocean. By making our voices heard on the issue, we're sending a clear message to local authorities that offshore drilling companies are unwelcome in our Bight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maddie. Now we've got Aisha and